There is so many of them here. That is not good. We may need to bring up more troops still over the top. Are going to get murdered. Machine gun is down. We are going to hold. This video is sponsored by Instant Gaming. Be sure to click on the link in the description to get this game for cheaper. Great War, the Western Front is currently available at £21.30 at the time of this recording. Brilliant game and is much cheaper than buying it from there. Make sure you get it. You can have the Victory Edition as well, which is also cheaper than there. The link is in the description. Be sure to press it before jumping on the website. You will be given a Steam key code if you are using Steam, which you can activate really easily. Be sure to check it out. And as always, thank you. Welcome back to another MoisTea Gaming video where we will begin the Allies campaign 1914 on Elite difficulty. Experience the game with extreme difficulty, suggested for players that like to fight against all odds. This level grants both combat and economic advantages to the AI. What those advantages are, we don't quite know, but either way, we're going to find out. I hope you stick around for this. This shall be very nice. Begin. Excellent. Strategic Frontline. The onset of war in August in 1914 was viewed with confidence by the peoples of Europe. Few imagined how long or disastrous a great war would be, and most believed the war was a necessity to defend against the might of their oppressors. Many had a sense of patriotism and positivity, and most believed the war would be over within a few months. By December, it had begun to set in that the war wouldn't be over any time soon. Well, let's have a look at this Allied campaign. We'll skip that. Allied Campaign 1914. As Germany pushed into Belgium and France, the Allies attempted to cut them off by pushing their forces north. Germany followed suit, each attempting to outflank the other in what was known as the Race to the Sea, a race neither side won. Blocked in both directions, the two factions dug in and tried to gain any ground they could. In an unparalleled act of humanity, the British and German soldiers agreed to cease fire on Christmas Day, both sides entering a no man's land to exchange gifts and start up a game of football. Others took the time to rest, repair their trenches, and recover the dead. This act of compassion was never to be repeated for the remainder of the war. Soon after the event, orders came down: push forward, take new ground, defeat the enemy. And that was that. This is most definitely going to be pretty interesting. We are the Allies, so we are in control of the French, the British, the Indians, the Canadians, the Belgians, and eventually the Australians, with some of the American troops as well. Seeing as this is a super fresh campaign, we have nothing. Look at that, absolutely nothing. However, the enemy do have lots and lots of bonuses, which we do not know the extent of yet. I do believe it showed me somewhere, but I'm not too sure where that is. Now we need to come up with a bit of a plan, as ideally I would like to take Kruznak. We'll go for Kruznak. I want to go for a capital. Now, with the changes in the patch notes, it means attacking and defending will slowly degrade the national will instead of it dropping huge amounts. Meaning going for the capital is actually a valid option now. So we're going to have to attempt to try and take that. The problem is, however, that the enemy are now going to be far superior than what they ever have been before in any of the videos we are yet to have done. So let's have a look at this. Demoralize them, destroy 2 German infantry companies. Well, we've got 5 turns to do that. I'm pretty sure that we will. We also have 2 other areas which I would like to have. Brussels and Luxembourg. That is the equivalent of Calais for us, and wherever it's gone, Les Morocques. That is where the Americans plod in, but taking these, I presume, will help our morale significantly, seeing as they are capital areas. I'm also wondering if taking back Brussels will actually give us more Belgian troops. I don't know. One thing I would like to see is the Germans attacking Verdun while we are the Allies. Now that would be a very nice, interesting battle. Definitely going to be looking at some encirclements, whatever we could possibly get. Even if that means doing little ones like Noyon, for example, or even Voutsers. We could attack Rathel and Stenay, and then attack Mazunay, and Voutsers would then be left surrounded. Little ones like that will definitely come in handy. Seeing as the enemy are going to have such a large bonus compared to us, we're going to have to try and get the advantage as much as possible. Now that could be, say for example, taking Lyon, and then they have to then garrison these 2 provinces while we only have 1 more to do, extending the line as much as possible. That must be the best way that I can think of right now to give the advantage back to us to some degree. I may need to do this on several tiles around the front. However, once done, marching over to Kruznak, or Kreisnek, somebody correct me, should be a little bit easier. One of the first places that we could go could potentially be down here, Colmar, and then straight to Strasbourg, which would then encircle this area, shortening our line by nothing. However, we are then a little bit closer to the capital. I think we're just going to have to wing it. One mechanic that I need to be aware of is the different nations talking to each other in the battles. So they don't really like it. So here, for example, there it is, disunity of command. The French do not get along with the British and Belgian forces. And the Americans are the same with the French and I think the British. So we need to try and make sure that they are all separate. We can use this to our organization a little bit, seeing as the British will have elite forces and so on, and the French will also have their own elite forces. So we could use that to attack from 2 different sections at all times. We don't have conscript units, they are all just standard or elite, so it means organizing it is a little bit easier in some respect. However, it's still going to be a little bit of a pickle. Now, to try and emphasize the fact that we need to shorten this line, we're going to have to shove our way through. All of this area technically is increasing our line length, seeing as they have fewer tiles to defend there. So all of this really needs to go. I've just been around the entire front and we are now actually equal But they have 15 tiles to defend, and we have 15. Increasing that to, say, 15 versus 20 would be huge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the French down the south, and the British and the Belgians up in this northern section. Each army will attempt to take over a certain area with what they have. Not sure this is the best tactic to go, but we're going to wing it. See what happens. With the French army, I am going to start attempting to take Saarburg and whatever that says, which will encircle these areas here. We'll have an attempt. In the north, I've decided to attack Oudenarde. If I can get through here, then this will increase the line significantly. It does leave it open for multiple attacks. However, they will have to defend 3 more hexes, while we only have to defend 1. So we're going to go for that. It will also pave the way to getting closer to Brussels and encircling a gate. Sections of front like this as well. If we were to budge this up one, so if we took Vouncers, then it would mean places like Châtel-sur-Main and Saint-Menehould would only possibly be attacked by 1 area at a time, meaning I could have less troops there. Something else to consider. I've wriggled the troops around now. I've got a bit of a force in Louisville ready to go to Salzburg and then Hagranu. And we also have plenty of troops up in the north, plenty in Ypres, where we are going to be taking Oudenarde and then hopefully moving to Brussels to see what happens. Now, the enemy are yet to deploy their troops, but they've got 17 corps which they can wriggle around all the way along the front. So these juicy stacks are probably going to be diminished to some degree, which is quite annoying. However, this war is going to be costly in many things, meaning that we're going to have to get some cash in. This, however, improved helmets is also a very good choice, but we're not planning on actually attacking straight away. Meaning, if we go for the storage tent first and get some supply in, that will be a good prerequisite for beginning an offensive, and if they do decide to attack us, we can stick a supply depot there to get some of the extra supply in for the better trenches, and so on and so on. So first things first, get the storage tent in. Wartime donations is also a must. We need more money each turn. This is an extra 20% more cash each turn. And we're going to get the improved helmets as well, because losing lives costs money and also morale and everything else, which is probably going to be a big thing. It gives you more staying power as well. So we're going to go for those 3 things first. We now have a supply depot optional. We're going to stick one in Wipers first of all, and in Louisville. This should help us out significantly. We do have plenty of cash available. Eventually, I do want lots of supply depots all the way along. We need cash for that, so cash is very important. I'm going to stick a supply depot in Verdun as well, as it can be attacked from 4 different locations. We're going to need to keep hold of it. Our units are in place. There's not much more we could do bar from look at what the enemy do. I want to keep hold of the cash reserve for now. We are going to take losses and so on and so on. So let's end the turn and see what the enemy come up with. Immediately they are already attacking. This is expected to be a major loss. That's surprising. Where are they attacking? Lyon? Oh, they're attacking Chateau Thierry. They have 3 corps, whereas we have 2. So this is going to be the first battle on elite difficulty. We don't have extra supply. We only have 2 corps here. So I don't know what this is going to be like. This is definitely going to be interesting. Looking at the map already, there's some forests which we could potentially use to our advantage. These forests could prove vital in our defense. We could stick men in the forest while they run down, and then they will murder the enemy. Excellent. We could do that around the command center as well. If the enemy take B, they'll run down here and get murdered, and if they run down here, they will also get murdered. First things first, we're going to delete these pre-positioned trenches. We can't be having them. I don't like where they are, and I'd rather have my own set. Yes, they are free, but they are permanent once they are in and get in the way of everything. I most certainly will not be doing a counter-attack on this, seeing as we will not have the appropriate supply available. But we can get at least some good defense in. Now, we're going to have to get a little bit creative. I'm just going to tell you what I've done. I've done these trenches here in the usual formation that I tend to do them as best as I possibly can. A little bit awkward, seeing as there's just no room for it here. I've had to get a little bit creative. I can use these forests. I'm going to have 2 units in here, one there and one there. 2 in here, and over here is a little bit more open. So I'm going to have 2 MGs in it to help push them off. Now, the enemy generally only attack from one side. If it's from up here, I should be okay. If it's from over here, again, I should be okay. As long as we can utilize the forest correctly. Over here, as I said, is a little bit more open. So the MGs should help stop any offensive. Ideally, I would have placed comms trenches down here. But supply is low, and I want to be able to bring in more troops where possible. I don't even have any artillery or any balloons, which is challenging to say the least. We don't have the supply for it, simply because we've only got 2 companies here. We don't even have a storage unit here. These men are now in the trench, not the trench, the forest, nice and hidden, and should murder anybody approaching. I may even send 2 more up in there, just to make sure that we keep hold of it. See what happens with that. It's a bit weird hearing all of the French units. Now, the enemy have 2 observation posts. They may even have a supply depot here, which is concerning. Remaining forces of the initial forces that were brought in. Yeah, so they've still got plenty of things here. May even bring these 2 units into the forest as well, just to see what we can do. These forests are definitely going to be key. We can keep hold of these without the enemy getting in. They should all get murdered. These 4 infantry units here. Hopefully the enemy do not send artillery in, but they should be hidden from the enemy until they get really close. Now, even the observation balloon shouldn't be able to see them. And we're just waiting on the enemy now to approach. While we do that, we'll talk about the home advantage of the French infantry. Infantry can cost less supply to field as reinforcements. Now, if you didn't notice already, they only cost 6 supply, meaning because we are on the home front, we can actually field more of these than what the Germans can, which is something I never knew was a thing, especially during the German campaign that we have just gone through. I'm not too sure what it is for the others. I think it's the Canadians are better, just generally more fearless. The Americans, I think, work better with tanks. I'm not entirely sure. I think the British have better shots, so they have better damage, rifle damage in general. There's a few little tweaks for each one. Now, the French don't generally agree with the rest of them. The Americans don't agree with the rest of them. And then you've got the Commonwealth and Britain. They don't agree with the others either. You've got to try and keep them separate, or you can stick them in, but you'll get a morale bonus decrease, which can be quite annoying. Here we go. Right, this is it. They're heading down to A. There's plenty of them. We may need to bring units over. Now, they're actually going for the forest by the looks of things, but we're in it, so we're going to start murdering them. All of a sudden, they disappeared. That's not good. What is going on there? Please murder them quickly. There is so many of them here. That is not good. We may need to bring up more troops into it, or we may even lose the forest. They are encroaching down here. They haven't seen our troops yet, but when they do, it's not going to be pretty. There we go. They're starting to hit us now. Our trenches can fire back. This isn't great. They are certainly going to be sending even more units in. We've certainly done them a lot already. We're going to have to get... Oh, this area here we cannot reinforce from there, so we're going to have to make sure that this holds. Now, we've lost 4, but I reckon they've lost a lot more. They are in the forest now, however, so that isn't great. They have lost a lot. They are going to keep pushing. We're going to have to try and make sure we get more forces down here. Get them moving over now. They are now actually shooting us with suppression. Thankfully, the other units can still shoot. The rear ones are also shooting. We have eliminated the first wave by the looks of things. Now we can try and make sure that we get back into this. We lost 4. I'm not sure how many they lost, but it must be a lot more. So we can get them in there quickly while our forces rearrange. I'm going to actually grab some units from down here as well, seeing as they only appear to be attacking from this section. They're asking for a ceasefire. Okay, yeah, we'll give them that. We'll accept the ceasefire. Ceasefire accepted. The Germans have stopped their assault and our troops are standing down. Excellent. We're going to do that. We don't have the means to attack ourselves, really. So they haven't got anything. Let's have a look at the score and losses. We did lose about 1,000 men there, I think. Just over. Here we go. Yeah, we lost just over 1,000 men, and the enemy lost 3,000 infantry. That cost them 300 quid, and us 100. So that's not big numbers as it is. We actually gained a profit from that, but still, this just shows what the new elite enemy is like. They're very aggressive from the get-go. Should prove to be a very interesting campaign. Now, this is a big one. So our national will goes up, which is fantastic, but the enemies went down only -3, whereas before it would have been around -20, which is ridiculous. So this means the war is most definitely going to be prolonged. Oh, we've done that as well. For a much more significant amount of time. Now, they may still attack us again. Yep, they have. This is in... They're attacking the same area? I think so. Let's engage. Yeah, they're attacking the same area. This makes me a little bit concerned because they may attack Verdun on multiple sides quite regularly. We're going to have to make sure we keep an eye on what the enemy's doing at all times. We need to... Yeah, this is going to be a little bit more complicated if they are definitely going to be attacking us like this. Because it's from a different area, they are actually a different map. It's just reversed. Now they're attacking us. We've got fairly open areas. Good for defense and attack. As soon as we can blow up everything that approaches. But we can't exactly ambush the enemy. So we're going to have to get rid of these again. I'm going to have a little more of a gander at what I can do with trench work. Back in it again. So these troops are slightly more tired from the previous battle. But regardless, we do have some extra things available to us. For example, I've managed to scrape together some supply for a comms trench connecting this across. If the enemy do decide to try and fully take this, for example, and try and run down here, we can shuffle units down here, and if they get cross-connected in the trench itself, then they're going to start killing each other, preventing them from moving further. And then that makes a big clog up, and then they will have to come out the trench to try and attack. Didn't know if I'd have enough supply to do it from the comms trench to from the command trench to A, so I left it out. Turns out I could have done it, but oh well. And I have one machine gun to help support each defense, bar from the middle one, because I wasn't too sure if we'd have enough supply. Now they have even less than before, but they've still got 2 balloons up in the air. And they've plonked quite a few trenches in. I'm just gonna have to wait for them to attack now. Thinking the enemy might come down here, you know. Oh, no, I was wrong. They're up here. Let's slow this down immediately. They're immediately going for the suppression. We can start shuffling a couple of units down here. They should use the comms trench. We'll do it down here as well for these lot. Get them in there, just in case. And here we go. We could have certainly used some artillery. All these backlines are shooting as well. Wow, they are certainly charging in. They're not going to get it though. They are struggling to get in. This is a good charge by them. They are running in. They're going to suppress the machine gun now. They have managed to get in, but any troops still over the top are going to get murdered. The machine gun is down. Plenty of units still over the top here. The units did use the comm trench. Excellent news. We're going to have to try and take this forward trench back. We can actually do that with the forces that we have there. Let's send them in. Get them engaged, and then we can move more troops into this section immediately, as they're probably going to try and have another go at that. Now they're engaged, they can't shoot back. However, this area they're going to give up. They've given up. Let's get them in there quickly. Going to make sure that happens. Move these forward. And we can even get some more of these down here. Let's just shuffle them that way for the time being. I don't think they'll go for this trench again. But we definitely need to get more reinforcements over here. Now we can do this directly from this section, which is quite nice. Get them straight in there. Now we are pretty much full strength again. Our supply is severely depleted, yes, but we are still very strong. The enemy may, do that. So, they've asked for a ceasefire. They would have lost quite a few men there, but it wouldn't really have cost them much morale. But it does show that the AI is now definitely much more aggressive. Excellent news for us. Let's have a look at the score. I don't think we lost too many. Yeah, about the same as the previous one. We did make a profit. The enemy isn't wasting too much money. What a good do. Nice. Somehow, their national will went up. Well, that's concerning. Even though we had a minor victory. And they're going for me again. Different area now, though. We're going for this area. They've got 3, we've got 2. Let's engage. It reckons that it will be a major loss, which is interesting. With the enemy being this aggressive, it means we're going to have lots more advanced trench work which gets developed. If they keep attacking these areas, 100% we're going to have some very interesting trench work, advanced trench work built. That is something that lacked when the enemy didn't really lose national will. Oh, sorry, lost too much national will because we just smashed them at every turn. Off we go again. We've got a similar thing going on. The usual kind of network. I have forgotten to put comms trenches in that section, but Never mind. Hopefully they don't go there. I've done it here as well, or I've forgotten. Here, though, I did remember, thankfully. And we have this comm trench running all the way across, which we can hopefully use to reinforce any area which is under attack. Now, because I did forget to do these ones, that might not be the best idea, but we'll just have to wing it as usual. Now, we'll just wait for the enemy to attack. So far, they've got 2 observation balloons up, and I don't know what else. Here they come. They are approaching this area this time, and now we're going to murder them. So immediately we need to get some units in this section of trench. If they behave, come on lads, there we go, get them right over there immediately. They are suppressing our troops, but we are murdering them at an exciting rate, I've got to say. It's not half as good as before though, but we are still murdering them nevertheless. All of these units are also shooting from the back. Our units are on the way. We need to make sure they get there quickly. These are using the comms trench as they should be doing. But they keep coming. They've gotten a little bit further than what I would have liked, but they're still shooting. This back line is still now hitting them, making sure they get extra punishment just as they enter the trench. A lot of these are still suppressed. These can't shoot. These can't shoot. A lot of these units are still getting hammered. This is quite lovely. We have these units which are actually getting suppressed a little bit, but that's not to worry. We can move these units over there, get those forward and nudge straight into that trench actually. That will serve us good. They are being suppressed. I don't necessarily like... Oh, there we go. They stop now. Let's get one of each in there. These in this trench here. And make sure this stays strong. We lost 4 units in that, but we do have the whole sector firmly under our control. They are now just wriggling around a little bit. Let's get some more reinforcements in for their potential next assault. I strongly think that they're going to do it again where they ceasefire. I think they're just probing, to be fair. This AI is definitely a lot more aggressive and willing to have a go. No, they're coming for more. We're at a slightly different angle this time. We have plenty of units available to us. Is it just the one? Surely it's not just the one. No, here they come now. I don't know if this is the enemy adapting or not, but coming at the angle does make it more difficult for me to attack them. As not as many of the troops can do their thing. Now we're going to have to try and hold firm. We can't really let them go anywhere because there's nowhere for them to go. So they're just going to have to hold firm. These are all shooting at them, so we're getting some lead into the enemy there. They don't appear to have the same numbers in this attack than what they did in the second assault that they threw at us. I think they would have had more success if they had the same numbers. But we have pushed them out just about.
Attention.
Quick, get more troops in. That will be wonderful. You guys go straight in there. And we can have more troops up this area. More are on the way. We need to make sure we get these in there as quickly as possible. They are shooting again. They're being a bit more persistent this time. We have plenty of men to cover the advance. Hopefully these guys don't shoot me, or they are shooting me. That is not healthy. Quick lads, jump in that trench. That's good. They're definitely still going for it. You can't imagine them having too many more troops now. We are going to hold. They're definitely giving it a little bit more though. Could even move some of these units over to this direction, just to be safe. Yeah, they are getting hammered. We're gonna murder these two French. Yeah, they're done. We can even move these over. We need to take that back. Look at all the bodies, man. That's a lot of dead. Need to re-strengthen this area now. Take this section back. Now we do still have more units which we can use. Let's get them in. We have these from over here still running around. Still very strong over here. We've not needed to use these troops just yet. They're just done at this point. They need further reinforcement. They're coming again. Being very persistent. Get them over there. And have one of these in each. Our troops got in there safely. Have the stronger one doing the shooting, and things are a lot better. No, they're not in a good enough blob, so they are definitely going to be losing a lot more men here. Running straight at it is definitely not the answer in just a steady stream. They were better off on the second attack. At least then they actually murdered some of our men. All of them are done. I strongly suspect now that they are going to ask for a ceasefire. Now we can move some of these units up there. Just get the stronger ones in. Because they are still coming. A little bit dangerous moving units around like this, but we did forget to do the comms trench after all. We are hitting them. We've got plenty of cover. And the enemy do seem to be fanning around a little bit more than what they normally do. We can swap these out, so we've got strong units in each for the firing step. They're actually crossing over each other rather well before this was a bit of an issue. We're doing alright. Swap them around. I think they're still going to come around for some more. Yep, here they come. It can't be very good for their losses now, surely. I think they need to come at it from a different angle. A lot of these troops are just going to perish. Running out a wall of lead there. There's quite a few of them, but they're fairly spread out. It's not going to be good enough for them. As the man just said, they can't have many more reserves left. They're all getting hammered. Surprised that they've been this persistent, to be honest. It's tempting to try and go on the counter-attack, but I don't really want to risk it. We don't have the men to spare as it is. Excellent. Well, that's good. Now are they going to go for a ceasefire? All them bodies, man. Loads of them. Now they ask for a ceasefire. Yep. We'll have that. They've stopped their assault and our troops are standing down. Now, before we press this, make a prediction of the enemy casualties there. That was a significant number. And then tell me in the comments how far away you actually were. Soissons, that's where this was. Let's have a gander at the results of this battle. Oh wow, okay. Call that 10,000. Well, that certainly hurt them. They lost $1,000 from that. They were much smarter in the first two battles. They called it quits pretty easily. Yeah. We'll see. National will has started to change. And finally, they have stopped attacking us. January 1915. We didn't really lose that much. Their troops will be tired. They attacked from these 3 regions, which are now thoroughly stocked up with units. That isn't great, not gonna lie. We're gonna have to be careful, so they've got 4 there against our 2. Similar things here. We're gonna have to definitely give this a bit of a wriggle around. Counter the enemy's movements. We do have 10 here for Salzburg, so we're going to have to go on the offensive for that for sure. It would be nice if the enemy went for Verdun. That would just be brilliant. Ordard, or what is it? Ordenard is going to be difficult. We do have plenty of troops here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's doable for sure. The rest of it seems relatively okay, but we're going to have to get some supply depots around here if they're going to try and keep attacking it. And here, where else did they attack? I think it was just these 2, wasn't it? So that will give us an advantage. They've got 6 now in Lyon against our 2, so we're going to have to do something about that for sure. These events, the British blockade soon after the war began, and the powerful British Royal Navy blockaded Germany, an attempt to prevent supplies from reaching the Central Powers nations. This included continuous patrolling, capturing, intercepting or confiscating ships in ports, and also mine-laying in international waters to prevent all travel. More than 400,000 deaths from starvation and disease are estimated to have been caused by the blockade. The aggressive tactics also affected neutral and allied nations who were not safe from the mines. Yeah, I can imagine that that was a bit of a mess. That gives us some national will, which is lovely. There's another event, Deadly Nest, destroy 8 machine guns. Right, well, this has been a definite good kickstart to the new campaign. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments so far. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening and tuning in. I will see you in the next episode. See you later.